All right, we're back. Welcome to the Purple and Gold Table Talk. Today's topic is Babies Got No Chill. I have two guests with me. To my left here, I have Brian Locke. To my right, I have Corey Wright. Welcome back, both of you all. Y'all about to be vets at this point.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. So we're having a great conversation already. Jump straight into it about babies got no chills and whoopings, right? Giving them, not to give them, when to give them, and those type of things. So, man, y'all had some great stuff. I love to hear. We just say that again in the mix of this of what some things we're talking about off air.
Okay. I mean, you want to set the table?
Yeah, like so honestly, I haven't had to whoop my kid in a long time.
That's great.
In years.
That's great.
And, when the last time that I remember I did, he was just wilding.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just disrespectful,
Yeah.
threw some stuff. It's like, get a hold of you, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But, now it's just, I mean, I talk to them. So when they do something wrong, even though you can tell, like, they're still a kid, they don't want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? What you did? Why did you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stern, but I'm still here to where they can talk.
Yeah. And how old are your boys?
Right now, 13, 11, and I got a 6-year-old daughter.
That's what's wonderful.
So-
Man. So even so, what age do you feel like the whoop is pretty much stopped? You hit that point. Is that just for one of them, all of them, like?
Really, for them, maybe 6.
Yeah, that's a good run.
I mean,
6, 13. That's
like we were just talking earlier, like
Yeah.
daddy's voice.
Yeah.
That get them in line real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you come in there and say, "Hey, what you doing?" Everybody's like,
right.
Stop everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's better than potentially having them fear me, because I don't want them to fear me.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be able to come to me and talk to me, and if they do something wrong, we still got to be able to talk about it. Yeah, I gotta, put you on punishment or whatnot.
Right.
But you need to feel and understand what you did was wrong. You need to be able to talk to me about it.
Yeah, a dialogue, real
Yeah.
conversation. And you said a good point about when the father's really in that household day to day.
Yeah.
They understand. And you don't have to really give that many whoopings, right?
You don't. When you spend time with somebody, what's understood don't really have to be spoken. I can just sit there and look at you, and you already know, hey, I'm disappointed right now. Let me chill out or whatnot. And so I really think that time that you like being involved, that helps out too a lot with discipline. You know, your kids know boundaries, because at that time you spending with them, you're talking to them and you letting them know what's allowed, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that time right there, it'll take precedence over, just disciplining the kids, or putting your hands on them. It's always discipline. It's different types of form, but like putting physical, corporate punishment, you don't have to do that, because you're spending time with your kids. Your kids already know what you expect, what you demand, and how things roll.
Right. So, all right. So, what's some examples of a different type of discipline that you all found effective?
Well, for my household, it's funny, my oldest son, my 7-year-old, recently got in trouble. So I wanted to take the approach of taking everything away from him.
Yeah.
And I found out that don't work for daddy.
Yeah.
Why? Because he don't have nothing to do, so he's going to bother me.
All in your face.
All in my face. Hey, daddy, can I do this? Can I do that? Versus, you taking the tablet away, and that's taking the time away from him. And so I realized, I said, I might need to find a different avenue of punishment, because that particularly don't work for me.
Understood.
And like trying to get things done, I'm a single dad, so I'm trying to get things done. If your child is not occupied with other things, there's more time for them to come and ask you questions and things like that. Not that it bothered me, but it takes some adjustment.
Right.
Especially adjustment when you already got a set way how you do things, and so yeah.
Do you, when you put the punishment, like taking stuff away, you put a time limit on that? I know you said it didn't work. You realized that didn't work, but when you did do it, was it?
Initially, I was like, you're not gonna play the game for for 2 days or
I know
whatnot.
that crushed them.
It crushed them,
Man,
yeah.
my kids and them phones and
everything. Took all the
Roblox.
technology. And so he was like, what am I? Go read.
Yeah.
Go do some homework.
That's great. Yeah.
You know, and so I had them at the table writing, you know. I just go into it. My son took a snow globe from my house. I didn't have any knowledge of the snow globe. So when my ex-wife called and she like, yeah, he broke the snow globe. He wanted me to tell you he broke it. And I said, well, did you know he took it without permission? I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
And so at that time I told him, I had a talk with him. I was furious because one, you took something that you know don't belong.
Right, right.
So right then and there, we talked about it. I let him know I was disappointed. So that's when I started taking things away, the video games, tablets, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I told him, I said, listen, you gonna write? I would not steal over and over. I went old school.
I was just for the sake.
I went old school. You gonna sit at this table?
Line for line.
Yeah, like Mama said, you gonna get your lesson.
Yeah.
So, but that's just, something I tried.
Okay, all right. You what have you tried to find effective?
I mean, kind of what you just mentioned. Like, you find what they like,
Yeah.
and take it away from them.
Parents.
My 11-year-old loves video games. Oldest one does too, but he loves video games. PlayStation, plays retro, all of that. And he kept leaving food in his room over and over and over again. So I was like, okay, you got the PlayStation 5, you can't come in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't come in here.
Yeah.
Well, when can I come? When I tell you.
Yeah.
You didn't even put a date on it. It was
No,
like,
I didn't put a date. Yeah,
I know they crushed them.
Yeah, and he's like, but afterwards, like even in his room, everywhere, he started to make sure that he would pick up. And then, I was like, okay, he was like, Daddy, after about 3-4 days, he was like, Daddy, it's the weekend. Can I?
Yeah.
All right, son, go ahead. But it's you find out what it is, and you can just kind of snatch that from them,
Right.
and they type, or you can even threaten them.
Yeah.
My oldest,
Yeah.
he was looking for, granted it was a game, but he was looking forward to buying a game with his own money, and he was not doing some of his homework. Game released on Friday. Hey man, we not going. We're not going. I was like, no, you haven't done your homework.
Yeah. Was he mad at you?
No, he was a little mad at me because he knew I wanted to play it too.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But he was more upset that he knew that he should have been doing his work. He knew he should have been turning that stuff in.
But that's great though to have that self-awareness at that age.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times these kids can get wrong and strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give them a punishment. They mad at you for giving them punishment because they messed up.
Yeah.
That's the worst. So I've had that happen. It's like, man, look, listen. I want this to be as smooth as it can be in this house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You handle yours, I'll handle mine. Everybody is good. But sometimes you got to make those adjustments. That's also that self-awareness. Like, hey, I messed up. Let me fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Type of thing. That's really good.
And I will, to add to that,
Yeah.
I know just going back to when we were kids, we knew when we messed up.
Yeah.
Like we did, but we didn't necessarily, some of us didn't necessarily get the opportunity to say, hey man, look, this is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Case in point, the 11-year-old, he
That's a great point.
so I had a knife,
Mm-hmm.
little knife with some other tools on it, and he took it out of the room and he left it in his room. And I'm like, okay, why are you picking up this stuff? You're not supposed to be touching it. But what I saw him do was he had a Game Boy, unscrewed it, and he said, well, I was just trying to get the Game Boy to work. He dusted it out and blew all the dust and everything else out. And he said, look, he turned it on and it worked.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh, he got the
Okay.
Game Boy. You blow the thing.
yeah.
That's the old school,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he wanted to fix. So I was
But
like,
you gave him an opportunity to find his logic
Yeah.
and his
Right.
thinking. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's, man, I'm glad you hit on that.
yeah,
You know,
because I heard him and I'm like, okay, So before you take stuff, you need to ask me first.
Yeah.
But you know, I knew what I heard. I heard what he said. I knew what he was trying to do. So I'm like, okay, we'll
Makes
work
sense.
with you.
Yeah,
You know,
makes
because we didn't. A lot of us, I would bet, didn't necessarily get that opportunity.
Dude, that is that's the difference,
I'm
right?
trying to tell you.
That is the difference, and I heard that in both you all's conversations that you have with the children. You are verbalizing, "Hey, I'm upset, or I'm disappointed,
Yeah.
right? I'm disappointed. Talk to me. Let's work through this." It wasn't like that before. You know, not at all. You getting a whooping. Like
Yeah.
that's just what it is.
You know, shout out to my pops. He did
Yeah.
the best he could.
Yeah.
But my perception of fatherhood before having children, I thought laying down the law and whooping that was gonna be what it took to be a father. That I was like, well, I'm just gonna sit around. My kids get out of line, I'm gonna whoop them, and that's gonna be that. No, it don't take none of that. It's simply just communication. Like you communicate with your kids and let them know what you're gonna allow and what you're not gonna allow. And but a lot of us didn't get that opportunity
Of course.
growing up.
So, and no disrespect to the parents.
Oh yeah,
That's why I said shout
disrespect.
out.
I
Yeah,
do want
yeah.
to hear. All right, what's the dumbest thing y'all got a whooping for?
Oh man, I needed a whooping for this.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I needed
right,
a
you like I
whooping.
messed that one up.
Back in the day, you know, taking pictures at J.C. Penney's or Montgomery Ward's was big. You take the family pictures.
Okay.
Well, I got dressed, and we all had matching outfits. Me, my older sister, my mom, and my daddy. I was the first one to get dressed. So my mom said, "Stay around the yard. We're gonna get ready to go, so we can take these with." I got wet. I went outside, got in a water balloon in my picture outfit.
Dang.
Man, I'm trying to ride the
Man,
bike, dry
so-
off everything. My mom talking about come in the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I can't hear him in the house.
Messed up the Sundays.
yeah. So that's
All right, what you got, Brian?
The dumbest thing I got up.
Yeah, you look back and be like, man, why did I get a whooping for that?
I came home late, but it wasn't like real late. So let's say I needed to be home at say 8:30.
Yeah.
I'm home at like 8:45.
That's too late, Brian.
Yeah.
That's too late.
Deadlines are deadlines.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
might have gave you a 5-minute grace.
but I had a reason. I did have a reason, but I didn't get the opportunity to
Oh, you
tell
not
my
getting
reason. So a buddy of mine, when we was out with my friends in the neighborhood, he fell off his bike,
Yeah.
hurt his knee. So it's like we taking him home. So instead of just riding, we walking from all the way in the back of the neighborhood all the way to his house, making sure he fine. Then I ride my bike home. So I'm late, but I don't get the opportunity. I'm like, hey, so-and-so got hurt. I don't care if he got hurt. And I'm like,
Not trying to hear you.
not trying to hear it. And I'm
Not
like,
trying to hear you.
I would have brought him home with me.
look at his knee.
He bleed, mama. He bleed.
Because I thought I had the opportunity. I was like, I'm just going to say that so-and-so got hurt. No.
Yeah.
You didn't get the opportunity. The only thing I got, he got hurt. You was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's crazy. The dumbest one for me, and again, my mom, she a wonderful, right? I wasn't getting beat for dumb stuff like that, but this one was dumb. My brother, I was drinking out the jug out the refrigerator, and I probably was told not to. Whatever. My brother, he was a snitch back then, so he like, "Mom, you drink out the jug." I had a whoop for drinking out the jug. Like it was like out the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think it was some apple juice or something. You
Yeah.
feel me? Well, I guess the principle was I didn't listen, but
It was a
like,
rule.
man, I got a whooping for this. You know what I'm saying? So when I got my own spot, I was drinking. There was no cups. I'm drinking out every jug, no cups.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Now, I will say, I got my sister whoopings all the time.
Oh, that's petty.
Yeah.
Like so she was younger. I say, hey, the biggest thing was Oreos.
Yeah.
I love the Oreos. So I say, hey, put Oreos in your purse. So she go, his little sister put the Oreos in the purse and she bring them to me. Well, she got caught, trafficking Oreos to me. She the one who got the whooping.
Yeah.
Why you got these Oreos? Blah blah blah. And I'm like,
And you over there.
Dang, you ain't say nothing.
oh no, because I wasn't finna get none of that.
Oh man.
I was like, I see what just happened.
Yeah. You don't want that.
Sorry.
But if she had that comes back to communication, right?
Yeah.
Like that communication aspect, having that dialogue, conveying that you are disappointed, give them the opportunity to understand, right, the why, and then possibly, if need to be, give some type of punishment.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Now, a common denominator I heard with the punishment was taking away things they like. Specifically, technology was talked about, right? So with that being said, with technology, how are y'all managing that aspect as far as social media, right? If they're watching YouTube, just different things right now, it's so paramount with technology and so easy access to things that kids shouldn't be seeing. So what are you doing to monitor that? Yeah, that's it. And you're 13, so you at that age.
Yeah, he just got his phone for Christmas.
Okay.
And I was like, hey man, look.
It's about to get
Day we gave it to him, I was like, hey, he got his phone and everything. And I was like, I'm not gonna put it on him yet. I'm gonna let him enjoy himself.
Yeah.
Then later on that day, on Christmas Day, I was like, hey, look, I need your password. You can, because the way Google's got it set up, now that he's 13, he can have his own account. But I was like, I need your password, and I'm going to be coming in here randomly and seeing what's on here.
Yeah. Phone check.
And I'm going to give it to you. Yeah, phone check.
You coming,
And,
boom, phone check.
and I haven't even had to do, my wife's been doing, she's been like,
Oh, yeah, they love it.
she'll go in there, Christian, let me see your phone. You know, so he's aware now.
Yeah.
That, hey man, of what he's looking at. We going to check. I told him he don't fully understand, but I'm like, hey, I work in IT.
Yeah.
I can see what you saw.
Give me some cookies.
Yeah. And so you know he but I mean he's done good, and even like on the TV they'll look at YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'll hear something, and then all of a sudden, immediately they'll switch it, and I'm like, okay, because if I hear it, I know they heard it,
Right.
and they know I don't want them to hear certain stuff, and they switching it.
That's good.
So I'm like, that's good for my daughter. She likes looking at, which I don't understand, but she likes looking at these kids videos on YouTube. So we let her look at kids YouTube. And for the most part, their videos are fine, you know. But it's really just checking what they're looking at. You know, got access to my son's phone. My other son, he can't purchase a game on the PlayStation until I sign off on it. You know, and he says, "Dad, can I play that?" No.
Yeah.
So, and I can see if you play it.
Right.
So, you know, it's just. You had to be a little more involved than, you know, you can't just say, oh, well, sit there and do this. Nah, you got to look. You got to be active. Yeah.
On the devices, be active, checking in.
Like you said, communicate, let them know what you don't want.
Yeah.
You know, so.
See, my daughter 15, so she's a little bit older, and every time she get in trouble, almost every time, it's over that phone.
Got something to do with the phone.
Got something to do with the phone. It's like, man, when you gonna learn? Like, it's like, how many times we gotta go through this same thing?
Yeah.
Your phone, right? Like, then she try to do the thing where she always try to, like, hey, if you like bring your phone down here, it's always that slow motion, creeping down, trying to delete everything, it's like, and still miss stuff every single time. But yeah, I mean, iPhone's got a cool feature too, where it's a parental setting, and you can actually set up who's able to call, who's not. Like, you can actually set up something called downtime. I don't know if you're aware of this. For those watching, if you have children that have phones, you can set up a downtime on the phone, so it will lock the apps at that certain time, and you'll have your own code that you unlock it from your phone. So it's not like you got to take their phone and do it all. Literally do everything from your phone.
So let me ask y'all a question. What is the appropriate age for a child to have like a phone or social media? Because like I said, I'm still young in the game. My oldest is 7 and my youngest is 3. And neither one of them are even thinking about a phone right now.
So phones and social media, I think, are two different ages. So for me, my youngest son just got a phone for Christmas. Man, 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? But he don't have no service. Of course, he uses on Wi-Fi. But he's doing nothing but watching kids YouTube, right? Doing stuff like that, playing Roblox. So I think that age having a phone is okay. As far as social media, that gets a little tricky. I would lean more towards high school because I know how big that is in that social world with them, social media, TikTok, whatever it may be. But I wouldn't want them to get. I wouldn't want like my sons. I'm not gonna let them have a social media account in the 6th, 7th grade. Like it's too much. It's too much access to other stuff. So
Yeah, and I'd say same thing. Like we ended up getting my son a phone because all the activities he's involved in, we can't get to him. We can't talk to him.
Yeah.
You know, like he's at some competition.
Yep.
He can't tell us that he's leaving early.
Yeah.
You know, we got to hear from someone else. So it's easier for him to have that, and we can communicate with him.
Yeah.
But as far as social media, I'd say high school, but because of all of the dangers involved with social media, like it's a lot of dumb stuff that happens on there, and it's because they are kids, and if they're anything like we were, we might do some of that dumb stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you want to try to mitigate that, and like you said, like it's part of their social circles in high school. So high school, yes, but even then, I'm like, I'm gonna need to be a friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be a friend.
That's what you think. They gotta have a separate one.
I need to be able to go.
My daughter got a burner.
I need your
account.
password.
Think she know how smart if you got a burner account.
You know,
like,
yeah.
you know all that stuff.
Like I need your password. I need to be able to go in there and see. And yeah, they could probably get around it, you know, because we all getting old. But
Yeah.
you know, I need to be able to see what you're doing to kind of help steer you from certain types of behavior.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that too, it's not always about what they see; it's about how they can portray themselves as well.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because we are in a clout chasing time.
Yep.
So you don't want your kids to get caught up in that, trying to get that gratification from online, that they lose themselves trying to impress people online. And that can be tough, man, because in that age, you want to be liked. High school, you want to be liked. You thrive for that. So I've seen, I had these conversations with my daughter, like, look, don't go outside. You know, like, it seemed like it's going to be cool to have these likes and all that stuff now, but you don't need that. You don't need to put yourself out there to look like that. So, and it's also representation of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where it gets tough because at the same time, these are still people who make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can leave them, you can do the best, whatever it may be, but they create that burner account, do something dumb. Like,
Yeah. I didn't talk to you.
Yeah.
I told you about this. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got to be aware of that as well, even how they portray themselves online.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one thing I've talked with both of my boys is you want to be able to portray yourself in who you are,
Yeah,
not the fake stuff. I said we got grown-ups out here
right.
who fronting,
Yeah, that's it.
you know,
Yeah. Right.
and so I'm like, if you when you do get a social media account, like just be yourself. You're not doing stuff for likes. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing this for appreciation from people you don't see.
Yeah.
Right? If you put something out there like, here's my dog, you're doing it because you want to. And I've told both of my boys that when I would use Facebook and Instagram, I had a purpose to it. Like I would write these blog posts and I would share it and say most of it was about Black history.
Yeah.
But it'd be these posts about Black history, put that out there, and I'm like, it's a purpose. And I put it out there, and that's it.
Yeah.
Youngest son was like, well, you don't go back and read and talk to everybody else? Like, no.
Yeah.
Just put it out there. Like, that's my thoughts.
That
I
was
put
your
it out
purpose.
there, and that's my reason for using
And that's
it.
a good point. I never thought about asking, like, okay, you get into social media, what's your purpose? Right? What are you doing this for?
Yeah.
If it's just to look cute and get likes, that's what it is, right? That's cool,
Yeah.
whatever. But you got to have some type of intentionality behind it. You don't want to just be out here doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's the biggest thing with that. Yeah. It's I get like not videos and stuff, but they never know who's following them either. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, who's
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah.
And I think that has to be highlighted when you're talking about online presence, right? Like, you don't know who's watching you.
Never know.
You want to always put your best foot forward and not try to diminish who you are or how people perceive you as well.
Yep.
But it's also that line of like, how do you balance the line of, okay, I don't want to be seen this way, but I also shouldn't care what other people think about me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How would you balance that with talking to your kids?
Who you are on social media has to be who you are if you were to meet people in person. So if you talking this game online, talk that game in person.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, just be yourself.
Right.
You know, because you have a lot of internet thugs.
Yeah.
You know, who get out there and they rah and this and this and a bunch of likes and everything. But then when you see that person in real life,
They just as meek and humble.
Yep.
yeah,
You know.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and hey, maybe they've created their own persona on social media to be able to do what they want to do. But, you know, for my children, it's like, hey, man, look, if you're going to use this, be who you are. Don't. And I've given them some example. I was like, you see what this guy put out there? Followed him from like 8 years ago. So you put something out here, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be able to find that. Like you said, like people, you don't know who's watching.
It's there
It's
forever.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's out there.
Especially
forever.
now, screen recording and stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't have that back then, but now
Yep.
No, it's
soon
a whole
post it,
different
yeah.
ballgame.
Screenshot, screen recording is instant.
You know, I was just thinking, and I guess it depends on the kid, but that conversation needs to be had. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Okay, I understand you want a social media, but what are you trying to accomplish? Do you want people to see how you dress or whatnot, get people opinion? Or are you there for comedic purposes? You trying to tell jokes or whatnot?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, my wife would probably tell you I wasn't the most helpful at times, right? Just specifically during the nighttime. So my sons, 2 of them nursed, right? So my mentality was, if I can't get up and get a bottle, then why do you need me up? If I'm asleep, you gonna handle that, right? But my other 2 weren't, so it was making bottles in the middle of the night, all that stuff. So my advice would encourage any of these up and coming fathers to make sure that your children breastfeed,
Yes.
so you can get some sleep.
Yes.
Yeah. So not only
Watch your wife, let her feed.
That's it.
But you know, and also it's a lot healthier. I mean,
Nah,
you
yeah,
got-
nah,
you got-
serious.
you
Nah,
know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
nah, serious.
You
yes.
know,
And it creates that attachment. So I mean, look,
But you had to learn. That was a learning experience.
It was,
You
it
know,
was.
yeah. Nobody didn't tell you that, or you just didn't know. You know, it took communication between you and your partner.
Yes.
And y'all had to find out what works best for you.
Exactly.
One thing I learned about fatherhood, I didn't have much experience in that department, so I would go around asking different fathers what worked for you.
That's great.
But what I did learn, what necessarily works for me might not work for you.
That's true too.
So you got to find what works for you and your child and your household. Whatever can help you that household run smoothly. I mean, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Some people tell you don't let your kids sleep in the bed with you, or
Yep.
you know, certain things. Well, that might not work for them.
Right.
But hey, this whole house got some sleep because that baby was right there. You know, and it's not the safest. No,
Understood,
don't get me
yeah.
wrong, but what worked for me might not necessarily work for you. And that's why I had to learn immediately becoming a young father.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. My kids definitely, man. My boys, my 3-year-old, he still climbing the bed like every night. Every night, it never fails. I'm on my side, or maybe I wake up, he right there, right there in the middle every time. But he's super clingy, which is weird to me because he didn't breastfeed, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that he wouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that man kissing the arm.
No,
It's not long.
you got, hey, what I lack in this area, I'm gonna pick up on this
Yeah,
area.
like
Yep.
all of that, you know. So definitely a lot of love and affection. But yeah, no, that's good stuff. Now as far as well, I know we touched on personalities on the last episode with kids and navigating through that. So Brian, I want to ask you. So you have 3 children yourself, right? So they have different personalities. how have you found to navigate through those?
It's been interesting to say the least.
Okay.
But they all have their own personality, how they approach just things are completely different. My oldest son is, I won't say he's completely dry because he's really funny, but he's dry. He's very okay. You know, my middle son, hey, what's going on? What can we do? I can help. And if he was in here right now, he'd walk over here and be like, "Oh, can I fill your glass?"
Yeah.
Like, hey man, we filming. You know, but that's him. And my daughter is just, hey, let's go here. We can do this now. So it's when we're trying to do one thing, it was a bit of a challenge trying to navigate their personalities because they're so different, but they are alike. And if you were to see them, like if y'all were to be in the car with me when I pick them up from school, you would think they don't like each other.
Right.
And as soon as I say, joking around, Jason stinks. Skylar, who gets picked on the most, she's like, "Don't say that about my brother. That's my brother." And I'm sitting up here like, he was just getting on your nerves.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting watching them and learning, you know, how they interact and trying to deal with their different personalities. Like I said, I can tell Christian, hey, do this, and he's more like, because he's preteen, he's like, he goes and does it. If I tell Jason to do it, he wants all the information.
Yeah.
Just, why are we doing it? And it's not in a disrespectful way, but it's more like, I want to learn too. So why are we doing this? How long is it going to take? Just questions. And then my daughter, she wants to do everything but what we're supposed to do. So it's like, if it's like, hey, let's go clean your room, it takes her 3 hours because she's in there dancing and singing and everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's letting them be who they are.
Right.
I would say letting them be who they are,
giving
learning who they are
Yeah.
as a person, and letting them be that.
Giving
Not trying
them
to.
what they need from you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause They sound like they all need different things for the personalities. Right.
Yeah.
So just being
Yeah.
exactly who you need to be for each
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell. I was having this conversation with another brother not too long ago. He was getting ready for his second child to be born, and I told him, I said, "I'm letting you know right now, that's a whole nother personality, a whole nother person. You got to learn, because no two children are the same. They're gonna be different. I've yet to meet any parent that say, yeah, both my kids act completely the same. They this and that, and so." You know, that's one thing about parenthood. You know, it's one thing to accept who your kids are. It's another thing to allow them to be who they are as individuals and stuff. Once you get to know who they are as people, and so you just got to be mindful of that. You know, that's the beautiful thing about parenthood. You know, when you have multiple children, the different personalities. All that comes together and make one nucleus, make that household run, man. That's beautiful to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, so yeah, it's just be mindful of that. You know, young fathers out there, they're expecting. Well, this is a whole nother person coming in the house, so you got to get to know them too.
Right.
You know, and so that's just the difference.
That's good.
Yeah.
And what you said there, I think, is important. Like, that is a whole other person.
Mm-hmm.
As yes, you are the father, but that is a whole independently thinking person.
Yeah.
You know, it may be 2, it may be 5, it may be 16, but that is a independently thinking person.
Yeah.
And that's something that is, out of everything I was doing with the kids, that was the hardest thing for me to get with my first one, was that's an independent person right there.
It's not you.
Yeah.
with feelings and
Yeah.
emotions and all. And
Yeah.
so you got to
That's
account
real.
for all.
Yeah,
That.
because I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you can get caught up in like, hey, you want them to be like you, right? The positive,
Yeah.
like everything
Yes.
you've done positive, your personality, you want them to
Yeah.
inherit these things.
Mhm.
You got to realize they might not have it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like whatever it may be, they're just going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how do y'all handle? I don't know if y'all have seen this yet or gone through it, but people outside of the household influencing them, peers, right, or people they come across, just outside exterior influences. So, and if you do have an example, but like, how do you all handle bringing them back to where they should be and back on the right path that they took a step off or diverted?
Especially with me having young boys, they're easily, just what's the word I'm trying to say?
Influence.
Influence. Yeah, they easily influence. One thing I try to reiterate our values in our house. I constantly talk about values, and so with
Real
that,
quick, elaborate some of the values.
being a man of your word,
Okay.
truthfulness. Also, just having bravery, and
Okay.
courage and things like that. I try to reiterate that in them so they don't stray too far. When they see other outside forces, they can always know who they are inside, and so it won't be such a conflict within when they see someone else, and it has an influence on them, because ultimately when they know their background, know what's right and what's wrong, those core values, anything that don't align with it, it's not gonna go with it. That's like oil and water; it's not gonna mix.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to do with my household. I constantly teach. Son, you can't do things like this. I understand you don't like structure or you don't like this, but it's going to help you in the long run. This is the reason why. I try to explain those things. I reiterate those things. And so with that outside influence, yeah, I see it happening. My son comes home and he'll do little things. I'm like, where you learn that from?
Yeah.
Oh, my friend, this and that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, let me see. And so we have talks.
Yeah.
If you do it this way, or I give suggestions, I have open dialogue while reinforcing those values, and that's helped so far.
Yeah.
And then like having boys, I try to be they role model. So everything I do, I know they're watching.
Yeah.
And so I try to practice what I preach. You feel me? So that's what I do with the outside influences or whatnot.
Instilling values. And
Yeah, instilling it.
communication,
You
things
got
stay away
you got to
from.
put it in there.
Yeah.
And, it's like computer programming. I want to put it in there. It's gonna stick.
That's good.
So-
That's really good. That's funny you say that. I was talking to my daughter. I used to tell her something when she was younger. I mean, I don't know. She probably was like 4 or 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I always told her, like, God first, family second, and then your personal success after that, right? So, like, just keeping in line. You always keeping God first. Make sure your people around you are good, and then make sure you taking care of yourself and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And she repeated that to me recently. Like, I didn't know she even remembered
It
that.
hit you. You
Yeah,
it's
like,
stuck.
dang,
You
yeah,
knew
it's
it.
stuck.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, listening. So that's big with those values. How are you handling it?
Yeah, it's what I try to push is integrity. Like your character. Be a man of your word,
Mm-hmm.
but I got a daughter. Be a good person of your word. When you say something, I'm going to take what you say, and you don't want to do anything that will make me think. When you tell me something, well, is he talking out the side of his mouth?
Yeah.
Is he? So, and I said, you don't want other people to think that, so it's like, when you're with your friends, they're your friends. You're going to have a wide range of friends. I did. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But you have to have your integrity, and you may need to be able to be like, move away from whatever y'all going to do. And that's okay. I said, in our house, that's going to be okay. And if there's a problem, we'll work it out together.
Yeah.
But it's just being there for them, allowing them to communicate with us so that any outside influences that they may have, we can work it out in a positive way.
That's awesome. That's good. I mean, I appreciate it. This was a great conversation. You all dropped numerous jewels. Anything else that you want to add before we wrap everything up?
No.
Okay. All right. Give the people where they can find y'all. Social media handles. You want to put them out there?
I'm on Instagram at Mr.
There you go.
Ellsworth69.
Is what?
Mr. Ellsworth69. Before we get it twisted, that was my football number. Okay, I played collegiate football. That was my football
Threw it
number.
out there.
So yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram or whatever. If you see me in the streets to talk, I love open door. I love talking to people. You never know who you can help or who can help you if you don't open your mouth.
Right.
Especially in the black community, I feel like we don't do enough talking.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through a hardship if you don't have to, man. If you can just simply talk to somebody or if somebody got some experience. What I'm continuing to learn in this lifetime, man, it ain't always what you know, it's who you know. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm all about just sitting there talking, connecting. And so that's another thing I try to, reinforce and show my kids. A lot of times we out in public and I might stop and my son, Daddy, you know him, he the bros? Or, no, I'm just talking to him. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. So it goes a long way, man. You never know who you can help or who can help you. And so don't be afraid to reach out and talk.
I love it.
You can find me, Brian Locke, on Facebook. I do not remember what the name is on Instagram, but Brian Locke on Facebook. Just with your kids, listen to them, communicate. And I've had those times where I'm like, I have to go ahead. I'm listening to you. Yeah. Where you it's here and you just want, but it's like, I'm gonna listen to you. Yeah. All right, man.
But that's not just patience. That's grace.
Yes.
That's grace. Yeah. But that's another conversation for another time.
Because
y'all have me here all night.
So, I'm Haven. You can find me on Instagram, Legendary Haven, or on Facebook at just Haven Nelson. Make sure you all subscribe to the YouTube page as well. We appreciate you all viewing this, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.